What is empathy? This is my definition of empathy. Choosing to be in relationship with the feelings, needs, and emotional states for yourself, others, and the world around you, rather than having the need to be right. It's choosing to step off of your mental model maps and having curiosity and care about where the other person is coming from, or where a younger version of yourself is coming from. You know, the one throwing a tantrum in the moment, or where an idea or situation might be coming from. It's about getting curious and getting relational, not defensive and right. It's not about having a book of facts regarding a particular situation and then taking that book of facts and flinging it at the person with whom you're interacting. Yeah, not so much. So how does this relate to the brain? And honestly, why should you care? Well, we need to start with understanding neurons. A neuron is a nerve cell with a nervous system. Those particular cells specialize in transmitting information to other nerve cells, muscles, or gland cells. As you can see here, we have a picture of a neuron, and this larger body in the neuron is called the nucleus. The nucleus is the cell body. Leading out from the nucleus is the axon, the nerve fiber. And the axon's job is to conduct electrical impulses from the nucleus to wherever it's headed. The hot dog-looking sausage-like link is called the myelin sheath, and it provides insulation to the axon. It also helps in transmitting data. On the other end of the neuron, we have the axon terminals, and on the other end, we have dendrites. Generally, the axon terminals are the transmitters and the dendrites are the receivers, but this is not a hard and fast rule. Information is transmitted and received through contact points called synapses, and dendrites are covered with synapses formed by the axon ends of other neurons. Mirror neurons are a particular set of neurons that help us learn, and help us learn quickly. They allow us to understand the rules in a social setting, how we choose to show up in a meeting versus at our best friend's soiree. Mirror neurons are key in grasping cultural nuances. When you travel to Asia, you'll notice differences than when you're in Europe, and those mirror neurons will help you acclimate quickly to the differences. And mirror neurons drive the empathy that we feel for others. For example, say you're watching a movie and the scene is the leading character is running from the bad guy. Is your heart racing? Are you anxious, worried, excited? Or when something in the film goes really well, do you feel relieved and happy? This is the empathy stemming from these mirror neurons. In the same way that you show a young child how to do a certain task, they learn by mirroring your actions. And in the very same way that you watch a YouTube video on how to do something and then repeat the steps you just learned. Let's refresh our memory on iRestart's definition of empathy. Choosing to be in relationship with the feelings, needs, and emotional states for yourself, others, and the world around you. So, where is empathy actually located in the brain? In a study published in the Journal of Neuroscience on October 9th of 2013, Max Planck researchers identified that the tendency to be egocentric is actually innate for human beings, but that a part of your brain recognizes a lack of empathy and autocorrects. This specific part of your brain is called the right supramarginal gyrus. When this brain region doesn't function properly, or when we have to make particular quick decisions, the researchers found one's ability for empathy is dramatically reduced. This area of the brain helps us to distinguish our own emotional state from that of other people and is responsible for empathy and compassion. Neuroscience offers us the opportunity to see inside the human brain and better understand our minds. When we have this level of knowledge, we have greater visibility into our behavior. And when we see our actions with more clarity, we can start to make different choices if our experiences are not matching what it is we'd like to experience in the world around us. When we step into being in relationship with one another, our behavior begins to reshape our neural circuitry, and we alter the way we interact with one another. Eventually, through continued practice, access to increased experiences of empathy start to become the foundation of our identity. It becomes a part of you without having to think about it. What is super awesome is that our brain's neural circuitry is malleable. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural pathways or connections. It does this through something called axonal sprouting. This mechanism can be done in two ways. One, where undamaged axons grow new nerve endings and then attach themselves to undamaged neurons, forming the new neural pathway. Or two, where links have in fact been injured or severed, the undamaged axons grow new nerve endings and find new connections. What this means is that we actually change our brain to create greater tendency for empathy and compassion. So, how do we even begin this process? We start with the vagus nerve. Vagus in Latin stands for wandering. I wonder why Las Vegas is actually named Las Vegas. Anyway, your vagus nerve emerges from the back of your skull and stretches down your neck toward your esophagus, heart, lungs, and abdomen. Its responsibility is multifunctional, which also includes constant heart rate and controlling food digestion. Basically, the vagus nerve helps to keep a person breathing and to assist in transmitting a variety of chemicals through the body. So, when the vagus nerve is stimulated, the response is often a reduction in heart rate or breathing. This is really important because we use this nerve to slow ourselves down, to take deep breaths, and to do something many of us don't do enough: relax. Think of it as a toggle switch between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. This is why meditation works when it does, and doesn't when it doesn't. But wait, there's more. The vagus nerve does something rather amazing that links us back to mirroring neurons. The vagus nerve displays our feelings and emotional states as facial expressions. So how does this relate to empathy and mirror neurons? Okay, remember the movie scene, the main character is trying to outrun the bad guy? And your heart's racing? And the empathy piece you're experiencing is that you want the main character to be okay, to be safe, and to evade danger? Once the main character is safe, you begin to calm down. Your heart rate slows, and you have the experience of relief or happiness or some similar feeling. So let's break it down here. You see the actor have an experience. Your experience releases a wave of beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. In this example, you want the actor to be okay. Your mirror neurons fire. Your vagus nerve is stimulated. You begin to mirror the experience. Your heart rate increases. You cringe at the huge jump, and you exhale when she lands safely. This is empathy. The more compassion you're able to feel for yourself, for others, and the world around you, the greater the vagus nerve responds. On the flip side, the more one feels entitled or arrogant or in need to be right, the vagus nerve responds at far lower and weaker levels. It's crazy, right? The first step is in having the awareness of your experience. The second step is choosing to be in relationship with that experience. And finally, to notice the feelings, the needs, and emotional states for yourself, others, and the world around you. So how does all of this play into meditation? Very simply. When you meditate, you intentionally control your vagus nerve. When you do this, you slow everything down. You slow your heart rate, you start paying closer attention to your thoughts, you may even begin to notice certain feelings emerge and surface in your body. You might slow down enough to notice someone else's point of view, and that's the compassion and empathy piece right there. Ken Wilber talks about meditating for an hour a day for 4 years can bring one to higher levels of consciousness and awareness. TM, Transcendental Meditation, says 20 minutes twice a day works wonders. If you want greater ease in your life with those around you, I say give meditation a shot. There's a ton of neuroscience studies to validate spending a little bit of time every day noticing your breath.